As we continue to observe Black History Month, it's hard to believe there are still people alive today who had a parent born into slavery. Daniel Smith, who's almost 90 years old, is one of the few left. Jan Crawford spoke with him about his incredible story, which reflects the arc of race relations in America, from slavery to civil rights activism and the fight to end systemic discrimination. Jan is outside the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington. A great story today, Jan. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. You know, it's an inspiring, incredible story. And what's even more incredible, the messages that Daniel Smith heard from his father, a freed slave, a survivor, the strongest of the strong, so similar to what many other children of freed slaves heard from their parents. It's a story history has forgotten.
We are survivors.
Daniel Smith is one of the last living links to America's original sin.
Your grandparents were enslaved.
Right.
Your father was born the property of a white man.
Yep.
His father, Abram, was born into bondage in Virginia in the early 1860s. He was 70 when his youngest son, Daniel, was born.
He used to tell these stories.
Stories about the inhumanity their ancestors suffered and survived.
Father said you could hear him screaming and crying at the whipping post. But the interesting thing, my father never allowed you to talk negatively about America.
His father believed, like other freed slaves, in this new America, his young son would be great.
He grabbed me and shook me. He said, "You have nothing to cry about. This is America. We came from the strongest of the strong. We survived the ships."
The ship.
He gave me a signal to be strong and to survive.
And not just survive, but thrive and fight for true freedom.
John Lewis.
You have a lot of memories with him.
Right.
Smith's living room is a testament to his generation's struggle for equality. He was there for Martin Luther King Jr.'s March on Washington.
I want to remember someday
little black boys and black girls
can walk hand in hand
with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Well, I would say, and yes, and yes.
Smith followed that dream to Alabama, where he helped lead the fight for voting rights. He witnessed firsthand the terror. Smith remembers the Ku Klux Klan torching his office, and one night while driving, a car full of white men chased him down a dark road.
Then all of a sudden, boom, they hit me, and so I sped up as fast as my car would go. And then they come alongside me, pull over, you black. And I said, no, this black is not pulling over, because if they catch you, you're gone.
That must have been the most terrifying.
I wasn't scared, I was angry. But it stays with you up to 89, you know?
Like you can still feel that
feeling.
Yes,
yeah, right.
Smith went on to a successful career in government and then served as head usher at the National Cathedral, where he led presidents to prayer. An incredible life, inspired by a generation history forgets.
We want to think that happened so long ago.
Author Sana Butler says the children of freed slaves like Smith heard similar messages from their parents.
Mothers and fathers said, we didn't survive for you to be anything other than great.
In her book, Sugar of the Crop, Butler spoke to more than a dozen children of slaves, all of whom now are gone. Instead of anger, they were taught, like Smith, they could do anything.
After the Civil War, blacks truly believed the worst was over.
The worst was over.
The worst was over. So they had this immigrant mentality that we're going to go out and achieve everything that we can.
They didn't anticipate the barriers white America would erect. But their message, like the one from Smith's father, was you are the strongest of the strong.
People always say, it can't be done. You can't do this, you can't do that. I don't believe that. If you tell me that, I'm going to do it.
You hear people say today, but America has made so much progress.
It has.
But
It really has. When I voted for Obama, I mean, it was shaking. I couldn't believe I was doing this. A black man? No, we've made a lot of progress.
But he says not nearly enough.
We cannot continue as a nation with people hating each other. My father, he never hated anyone.
You never saw that from him?
Right, no, never saw it.
What would your message be for the future?
Be kind. We need more kindness. And I look back in terms of my crazy life, and I think it all came from my father saying, do good things. Do good things.
Now, Daniel Smith turns 90 next month. He's planning to share his story in a book that he's writing with his wife, Loretta, called Son of a Slave. It's a reminder that that dark chapter in America's history is not that far in the past. Tony?
Hey, Jan, I was just thinking that people say it's ancient history, but it can't be that ancient when you have the son of a person who was born into bondage.
Right.
That person thought the future was brighter for his son, and it turns out that was true, but there's a lot of work left to do. Jan, thank you very much for a very skillful piece.
Yeah, skillful, and so reminds me of my father, my grandmother. But the point that he made, anger is important. It's what you do with the anger and how you make change with the anger. It's people get angry. He said he was angry.
Yeah.
But it's like making that constructive.
Of course.
And he did it throughout his life.
No doubt about it. And not every black person is a descendant of someone who was enslaved. But if you are strong because those before you were the strongest of the strongest.
A lesson for a lot of people, you know? It's like move beyond.
Move forward.
And move forward.
Yeah.